Agriculture, once the mainstay of Nigeria's economy, suffered a low blow with the discovery of oil in the South-South. As a result, even states which did not produce oil were all beneficiaries of the fortune that came with oil. Consequently, killing the will of these states to invest in areas where they had comparative strength and advantage. In most cases, agriculture.
Things have changed, and oil no longer has the amount of patronage it once enjoyed globally.
Oil is tumbling below $50 per barrel, so it's an even neater trick that the S&P and the NASDAQ are above record close levels.
Meaning, countries, including states, now have to look inward proactively. One of such states is Kogi State.
On assumption of office, the New Direction government, led by Alhaji Yahaya Adoza Bello, identified lapses in the economic structure of the state.
What we envisaged, the problem, the magnitude of challenges or the problem we felt we want to come and solve. If before we are looking at it as, let me even say 100%, it is in 100-fold again.
One that pointed the state towards a predominantly civil service state, generating very little and insignificant revenue for the state.
The state finances is so down, so poor, that we're not just on zero level, we are on much negative level. We're far below the zero line.
It decided to steer the state's fortune in a new direction by basically cashing in on all options, platforms and partnerships that could uplift the state economically. As a result, it moved its attention to agriculture. The place of agriculture in any economy cannot be overemphasized. Any society that wants to stand the test of time must take pride in agricultural prowess. In recent years, there has been advocacy by stakeholders in Nigeria for states to redirect their focus and go back to land, especially with the dwindling resources from oil.
Those in position, public officers, civil servants, have been asked by government to go back to their communities, organize them so that they join government intervention.
One of the states that has taken the lead in this direction is Kogi State. Since assumption of office in January 2016, Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello has shown focus, dedication, commitment, and most importantly, the political will to turn things around in key sectors despite inheriting an empty treasury.
It will require a lot of things to get it done. One of it is political will, which we have in abundance.
One flagship project in agriculture that has continued to impact the lives of Kogi indigents and creating agripreneurs is the Fadama 3 Additional Finance Project.
We're happy that this particular program is coming up at this time when they are talking about, the government of the day is talking about diversification of the economy. And all of us, we are all aware that agriculture is the mainstay of this country. It's the largest employer of labor. But somehow it has been neglected over the years. But this present administration is laying so much emphasis on agriculture and asking people to go back to land.
It is a project made possible by the magnanimity of Governor Yahaya Bello in partnership with the World Bank and the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development.
The present administration of Governor Yahaya Adoza Bello of Kogi State has played a lot of prominent roles in the present Fadama 3 additional financing. When they came aboard, they met an arrears, a 2-year arrears of unpaid counterpart fund for 2015 and 2016. And when he was told, he graciously paid those 2 years.
Alhaji Abelu, the executive governor of Kogi State, inherited Fadama program that was indebted in the sense that the previous administration did not pay the counterpart fund. So Fadama could not operate in the state because the condition is that the state must pay its counterpart fund before World Bank will disburse their fund to assist farmers.
In Kogi State, the Fadama 3 additional finance project focuses on 2 crops of comparative advantage, which are rice and cassava, complemented with the provision of processing and aggregation centers.
We started this thing since 2015, and we have a group of 10, that makes 20 people, and they gave us 20 hectares then. So we started with that one, and we really thank God. What we achieved there, we've never in our life achieved such kind of a thing. So again, this last year, 2016, we have to group ourselves again, 100 people. That's 10 in each group, that makes 100. So people troop out because they saw what is going on last year, that is 2015 or 18, the benefit that we people get from it. So everybody just troop out to just join this thing. And we thank the government, and they support us. They bulldoze the land for us. They brought tractors for harrowing, plowing, and ridges like that, freely. Then, and they brought stems, free. Then they also gave us a fertilizer, a wheelbarrow, then chemical, sprayer, even the raincoat, then the boot. Everything was free. And we were just, it's only just token amount that we just gave them just for our own beneficiary counterpart fund. It's only just 10,000. That 10,000 today can multiply, some can get like 700,000. And you just pay 10,000 and you can get like 600, 700,000. So we really thank God, and we thank the government very well.
As I'm talking now, by the time we came into the Fadama program in 2016, we cultivated 20 hectares of cassava. This year, we have cultivated 60 hectares of cassava. It has expanded. More people are keen into it. And I can bet you they are introducing new variety of cassava that has early maturity. The existing variety we had will yield properly if it is left in the farm for about 1.5 years. But the breed they have brought now, within 9 months to 1 year, it is ready for you to harvest. So this means that it will not stay too much in the farm. The farmers will realize their interest immediately. Instead of waiting for 1.5 years, within 9 months to 1 year, they harvest and replant again.
Another thing that they've embraced is record keeping. You know, it's very difficult to keep records. But we've told them that since they are going into agriculture as a business, no longer as subsistence, they need to keep adequate records. From when they start their land preparation to cultivation, how much does it take to cultivate a land, to tractorize, that is plow, harrow, and reach for those that are into cassava. Then for those that are into rice, the same thing too. Then how much do you spend for your chemicals? How much do you spend on your fertilizer? How much do you spend for those that are working for you? By the time they record everything, at the end of the day, the cost of production and the cost of sales, they will now know if they are making a profit.
The project has been an assistance to the farmers here in Kogi State, specifically in Ajaokuta, where we are right now. The intervention is a very welcome one, and it's an assistance to the farmers. It has helped us to achieve a lot which we've never been able to achieve over a very long period of time. We've been doing this farm for a very long time, but with this intervention, they came with tractors that helped us to tractorize the farm. We planted the rice. The species of the rice that we were given was Faro 44, which we planted, and we're expecting to harvest at least 4 tons per hectare. And the market is also available. They've helped us to link us to marketers who would come to offtake our rice after production. So far, we've gotten our fertilizers, like you can see the rice, very greenish. That's as a result of the application of the fertilizers. And the chemicals, I don't know if you'll be able to see clearly now, there are no weeds in the rice as a result of the agrochemicals we got from Fadama.
The Fadama's office officials have been coming to monitor the rice, the farm, how far we have gone, and if there's any mistake. Like this is the way we used to plant our rice here, but when the Fadama come, they said they plant it 20 feet in centimeter, but like this one is too wide. But it's just because the nature of our land. If we plant it like that, well, at the end of the day we are not going to get anything. But in subsequent time they advise us to plant it in 20 centimeter. Like this is too much.
Only recently the Honorable Minister of Agric was telling us that rice importation has been reduced by over 60%. When we import rice, what we are doing is that we're providing employment opportunities for citizens, youths of those countries from where this rice is coming. Meanwhile, our own youths here are unemployed. And what we have discovered is that agriculture is one of the greatest sectors that employs. For example, if you go to the rural area, you will discover that over 70% of the employment in the rural area come from agriculture. Youths, the aged, women, you just need to go to the area. All we need is to pump some money to these rural areas and the economy will pick up.
A lot has been said about the government performance. You see, but in the area of agriculture, I can beat my mind at my head, myself, that Governor Bello, is outstanding. The contribution he made to Fadama has made it possible for Kogi to come out as one of the greatest agricultural production areas in Nigeria. We talk about Ibaji farm, and Ida, we have more than 2,000 to 3,000 hectares of land under rice production. So also in Basa. When you come to cassava production, Ojapata, Ampa, Iale, Okra, Igume, Ida, these areas are massively involved in cassava production. Not to talk about Jamata and the Kaba area. We have a lot of cassava here. But people have been paying lip service. We'll do this, we'll do that. He don't even only stop it, but he made sure that this cassava is processed in this state. That is why, as you go along, you'll be seeing the infrastructure for cassava production, creating jobs, creating wealth, getting our youth off the streets, getting them engaged in productive work instead of causing unnecessary chaos here and there.
The scheme also laid emphasis on the provision of water and road infrastructure.
We also have infrastructure, road, and the essence of this is to open up production areas to be accessible in such a way that inputs can be gotten into the farm, and produced out of the farm. And this has opened up all the areas.
We are very grateful indeed. Before, this road is not motorable at all, but now you can see it. About maybe 16, 20 dyna can load on the farm and go back. Even 3 trucks, they are coming to buy.
We do needs assessments. Whatever is required in any location, that is what we provide. Where there is need for road, we give them road. Where there is need for water, we give them water. And like I said, Fadama will first send advanced team out to do a needs assessment program. And based on the findings from the field, we address those infrastructural challenges to ensure that whatever we're providing is good.
But the infrastructure we're talking about, Fadama is in infrastructure too. But additionally, the state government's own infrastructure development complements. It highly supplements it. Because there are areas where government is already intervening in water drilling borehole. We don't do that again. We go to areas, other places. So government is highly involved under this in development. Also have other infrastructure like aggregation centers where produce, at the end of market days, produce not sold can be kept in, saved, secured for other market days.
This program has helped to curb youth restiveness and provide succor for the vulnerable in the society who have become fully engaged. A case study is the Waste to Wealth Center in Ankpa local government area of Kogi State, fully supported by the Yahaya Bello administration.
This factory was founded by 1999. We produce standard gari. We also process kernel to oil and also produce normal feed. The coming up of Fadama and Synagos is to introduce us the waste of cassava peel. Formerly, cassava peel is a waste, but now cassava peel is not a waste. We are introduced by Fadama, and through Synagos, we are sent to IITA at Ibadan for the training. It is there we learn how to process the cassava peel into livestock feed. And this was made during the period of Governor Yaya, Governor Bello. It was his time that this project came up. Then we convert this cassava peel into feed, livestock feed. The grating machine is crushing the cassava peel. After crushing, we took it to the jar. After we press it, we have the cake of the cassava peel. Then from there, we carry it to the pulverizing machine. This is the pulverizer. Well, after pulverizing the cassava peel cake, then we take it to the pulverizing cake to the sieve. This is the sieving machine. From this machine, we have two items. We have the fine mass and the coarse. The fine mass, we will fry it and spread it in the sun for 6 to 5 hours for drying. After 6 to 5 hours, then we bag it.
Governor Yahaya Bello's focus and outstanding performance in security is having a positive bandwagon effect on the success of agricultural programs in the state. This is coupled with his belief in the social integration and inclusion of all Nigerians irrespective of state of origin, a strategy that has helped to minimize the devastating effects of herdsmen and farmers' clashes.
If the environment is not secured, if you go to farm, you can be kidnapped, can be robbed, can be killed, so many things can happen. But His Excellency has fought the issue of insecurity to a standstill. Today, we are in a safe state.
We know government of Governor Yaya Bello is providing enabling environment. There's a lot of security. Because without security, what we are talking is not possible. We are maintaining a lot of tranquility here. We are seeing a lot of tranquility here. Our farms are secured. We don't have threat of herdsmen here at all.
The issue of Fulani herdsmen and the farmer conflict, we don't experience it because there's a strategy we adopt under the project. We tend to bring in, as a social inclusion, bring in Fulani into our project. They are not discriminated against. They too are members of some of the groups. They bring them into it, And once they are members of such groups or clusters, they don't venture into destruction or allowing their animals to vandalize our farms.
It made us to have peace with the Fulani herdsmen. They are there even within their settlement within the farm, but they don't touch our farm. No. So because at the time that the Fadama people sensitized us, we were told to make friends with them and even to inculcate them, to give them a plot of land if they are willing. The money and the courage they gave to us, they did not touch our farm, they did not allow their cows to destroy our farmland. So we are grateful to them and we are making friends with them. At times we go there to drink water, we go there to take nunu, so wara, etc. So those are the friendly associations we have been making with them. Once again, we are grateful to Fadama, the World Bank, the state governor, and every other person that our resource personnel that are making this project to be reality.
As peculiar to all programs, there have been some challenges as well as improvement areas.
What is left now is the government intervention, more government intervention in certain areas. You cannot use manual process for agricultural production these days because the population has gone too high. And most youth now don't go back to the land. They want agricultural mechanization. That is the area that the state has to look at now.
Now, lately, one of the greatest challenges that faced us initially when we were doing cassava was the issue of brownfield. But the government has promised that in fact, they have started opening up, clearing lands in the local government areas for use by women and youths in agriculture. And hopefully we hope that before long, a portion of these cleared lands will be allocated to Fadama for the use of our farmers.
If they want us to properly expand our agricultural projects, we want the state, as a matter of urgency, to start the supply and provision of agricultural equipment, tractors, bulldozers to clear the land, and then make agrochemicals and fertilizer massively available to the people. And all this restiveness by the youth and the grumbling about not having anything to do. Because government alone cannot give you employment. How many people can government employ? Even in the era of computer. Computer has taken more than half of the job that hand is supposed to do. And you still want to say that government should employ all school leavers, all university graduates. It's impossible. But there's enough land.
We can't say we don't have challenges. Of course we have challenges. Funding is an issue because, like I said, state government is expected to clear the lands. And the cost of clearing land in farming is more or less 60% of the total cost of farming. We need heavy duty equipment. I also want to still make reference to when His Excellency came to power. When he came, there was no functional machine in the whole Ministry of Agriculture. It took a determined leader, somebody who wants to achieve success, to make funds available. We have fixed some of those machines, they're back, and farmers are using them now. And recently, we just acquired 40 tractors and other farm implements. All of these are meant to make land preparation very easy for our people so that we can enlist more people in Fadama activities.